The theme of this call is receiving the gifts of what already exists. So, Dwayne, that's been like Suzanne. One of the most underpotentiated things that you've got going on, girl, is how you deal with LinkedIn. So I'm going to let him go ahead and share the gifts of what's already here.
Cool. And thanks for letting me take some time to connect with you all tonight. I'm excited to share some of the things that we have been working on, and excited to hopefully enroll you in supporting the project as well. I'd like to begin actually with a story, if you don't mind. I'm going to read just a little. For me, it's a bedtime story. For Suzanne, it's a bedtime story, but don't go to sleep, Suzanne. So it goes like this. Once upon a time, in a land across the Atlantic, back home, also known as Miami, a recruiter reached out to me about a new and exciting position in a very prestigious company with whom I had a lot of respect. I'm literally reading this here. I was notified about their message in my LinkedIn inbox via regular email. And thinking it was a joke, because who really uses LinkedIn, I didn't really immediately check my inbox. And I wasn't even on the platform until a couple days later. And when I did, I found out that the solicitation was in fact for a real job offer. And it was from actually a real cool company that I admired. It was from Adidas in Germany. And as it turned out, I actually went from this solicitation. I actually went through an entire job interview process, accepted a role, moved over to Germany, reclarified my life, found my husband, got married in a castle, and have since been living happily ever after. No joke. That's really a true part of the story. But LinkedIn has really then, to that extent, really played a significant part in my life. Thanks, Casey. Just from that experience. And at the time, I thought, like, my LinkedIn profile is so like basic, like it's not even completely current. So which then made me think, like, wow, like who else has been checking my LinkedIn profile, and what maybe even smaller opportunities have I been missing in the meantime, because I wasn't keeping that profile at all current, and maybe in fact had my profile been working against me. So today I want to talk to you about three things: the opportunities that exist on LinkedIn for both Lightyear and as you as coaches, some simple ideas that we have to evaluate Lightyear's LinkedIn presence on LinkedIn, and some timelines I have to put behind this framework that we've built here. How's that sound? Good. Casey and Daniel, maybe it's a little bit repeat, but hopefully it's still exciting.
Yes, it's great.
Awesome. Okay, so before I do that, let's just take a look at some interesting facts about LinkedIn. Did you know this? That LinkedIn is actually the most trusted social media network in the United States. 73% of people believe that LinkedIn protects their privacy and data more than something like Facebook, which is just 53%. Also, 76% of LinkedIn users are outside the US. There are 700 million users, 200 million in North America, and 163 million over here on mine and Suzanne's side of the planet. And 27%, almost 1 in 3 of all Canadian internet users pop on LinkedIn at least once a month. So the global reach with LinkedIn is absolutely vast. And it's also really amazing to be able to connect with people just that are to the north of you, an entire other population in the same time zone. LinkedIn users are generally going through a ton of change. In fact, you probably may have heard the joke that people are only on LinkedIn when they're looking for a job. But yet, that's an opportunity, right? So it's potentially an audience with a large percentage of people seeking personal, career, and journey change. So LinkedIn doesn't report on genders other than male and female, but however, it's likely that it's also an opportunity to reach more guys. And I know this is something that is important strategically to Lightyear as well. Facebook is about the same, and Instagram is actually Facebook is the opposite of this metric, and Instagram is the same, just FYI. And currently, LinkedIn has 15 times more content impressions than job posting. And what this means is that LinkedIn has really gone beyond being this just recruitment platform. It's really becoming a professional network where people come to educate themselves, to connect with like-minded people, to seek other opportunities. And it's really become something I think really special. I was talking to Suzanne and Daniel about a friend of mine who came from the world of Adidas and Apple, and now she's the CEO of a sex toy company over here. Oddly enough, a really vast change. And something really sparked for me last summer. And I hope I can say this on the call, Suzanne, when I noticed that during the COVID pandemic, when it first came out, they really started posting some racy but brand appropriate content on LinkedIn. And I was shocked that this stuff was popping up on LinkedIn. In fact, their hashtag last summer was "stay home and fuck." And so I feel so like giggly like when I say that. But literally it just popped me out of the script. It's like, wow, LinkedIn has really become a completely different place. And if they can show up so authentically raw as a sex toy company, or an adult entertainment company, certainly LinkedIn can show up as pure and as authentically as we want to as well. So it got me thinking a little bit more about how we could show up. 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn drive business decisions. There are 61 million senior influencers, senior level influencers on LinkedIn. In fact, the chief selling point for people that are for marketeers is that they can actually target their audience not just by their job, but by their demographics as well. And so this allows B2B marketers, coaches, people that are wanting to connect their business to other business to really choose how they want to apply their reach. So LinkedIn ranks behind Facebook and Instagram for purchase research, but it's still ahead of Twitter and Pinterest. And what that means is that people are using LinkedIn to really validate the possibility of working with another business. So they use it to kind of do maybe like a second check on the credibility of a business. And that includes coaches as well, right? So not just Lightyear, but coaches as well. And remember, the people that are using LinkedIn are those top senior, there's a good portion of senior influencers and senior decision makers that are using it. And then finally, this is actually something we had at Adidas. They actually gave us a LinkedIn Learning subscription. It was actually part of our learning and development package, if you will, because there's a lot of really great content on there, really quick little bites that you can digest whenever is convenient for you. And so it's really become an educational platform as well. And so if you take all of these metrics that we've just reviewed, Lightyear really has a lot to potentially gain from an increased presence on LinkedIn. If you think about it, there's a fair amount of there's guys, there's decision makers, there's people going through change, there's people outside the US, there's people wanting to learn about themselves, and those who want to position themselves in a certain way by connecting with certain types of businesses. So it really is, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit here that we could take advantage of. And then if we just kind of flash back to May, this is what our LinkedIn page was currently looking like. We had 223 followers. We had 7 employees, 3 from Camp Conrad. We had some dated imagery. It was a good attempt, and it was also fairly stagnant, right? The content was pretty limited. There was a limited posting cadence. However, what if we could really impact this? Yeah, I think there was like 1 year between 2 posts there. So I want you to picture a moment at the end of the year, and maybe it's New Year's Eve, and we're reflecting on the year that we've had. And what could it mean to Lightyear's goals? What could it mean to your goals if we could impact this? What if we could have 2,000 followers? What would it mean to have 70 employees? What would if we had updated imagery? What would it mean if we could have ongoing content and we had a regular posting cadence and maybe a BHAG that we could throw out there? What could it mean to Lightyear and Lightyear's legacy and everything that we want to achieve if we pitched Suzanne to teach personal legacy as a LinkedIn learning course? So these are some of the ideas that we have. What would it mean for signups for Power My Future, for Lightyear Coach, for Lightyear coach training opportunities, for business inquiries, for supporting Get There Now, for Lightyear's 10-year legacy? This is what we want to talk about. So I want to share just a few ideas that we have, and we break it down into 5 categories here. If you have any questions as I'm going along with these, please feel free to shout out. We can stop and answer. The first thing we want to do is upgrade the pages. We've already done a fair amount of work on that. The second thing we want to do is harvest some data. The Third thing we want to do is enlist the troops, which is where we are today. We want to tell some stories, and we want to drop some knowledge. What this looks like is, what we've done is we've spent some time. I partnered with Amalia back earlier in the project, and we selected some new imagery for the Lightyear page. If you've seen it recently, if you haven't seen it recently, take a gander. She's been wonderfully refreshed. We've ensured some consistency across Suzanne's page and the Lightyear page. Tried to bring a little bit of the Instagram flavor to it as well, where appropriate. And the response has been actually pretty cool. In the past 6 weeks, we've actually gained more than 40% in followers. Actually, I checked it tonight, we're at 317. So that's pretty cool just in the past. And these are people that every time they like or something, it gets perpetuated in someone's feed potentially, right, in the algorithm. And our interaction, the visitors have increased over 375% just from posting a couple things per week. Just, I mean, we're not even doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but we've been able to impact it this much in just the past 12 or so weeks. So that was the first thing that we did. The second thing we wanted to do is really harvest some data. So similar to what we were doing with Lightyear and translating it into Spanish and making it accessible for people who speak another language, what we thought about doing is how could we translate Lightyear into the language of business? And when I say that, I don't mean becoming something that we're not, but how can we take what we already have and translate it in a way that speaks to people that really are making the decisions and maybe just need something to be said a different way to tip them into just trying it on, or maybe just people that are in a certain place in their development that they need just a little piece of validation in a language that's just a little bit more similar to what they're used to. Just that's because that's where they are right now. So what we did is we surveyed the Lightyear community. We surveyed some Lightyear graduates. I know a lot of you filled out the survey, and thank you. We surveyed some key business partners, and we've reached out to them as well. And what we've done is created a bit of content with some metrics and data that speaks to the success we have. We wanted to create something that would just speak to our audience and give them just a little bit of a nudge to maybe just go to that page, maybe try Power My Future here. And I'm happy to share some of the results with you tonight. Not only did we get some great qualitative content from a lot of people that filled out the survey and have allowed us to share. Well, I won't go through all of them here, but we've got some really great content that we can use for social media feed. We've actually got some really great metrics. I'm happy to share that it's actually 5 times personal legacy graduates show they're 5 times more likely to achieve their career tools using our goals. And I wonder what kind of response that could generate on Instagram or on LinkedIn, and how much that could potentially drive people to go check out Power My Future. Additionally, 98% of surveyed respondents agree or strongly agree that Lightyear leadership principles have directly impacted my ability to successfully accomplish career and business goals. So just a real simple way to state some facts in a way that might just tip some other people to give Lightyear some consideration there. So what we're going to continue doing is continue to upgrade and test the content. This was a new banner that we have up that was based upon our webpage. It includes some of the sayings that we have on the landing page on lightyear.co. We've included a couple that also maybe speak to guys a bit more. For example, on the far right, to become a father, to be fully present with my kids, just some things that maybe speak to both guys and girls. We're also playing with taking the Lightyear brand design and actually calling out a bit more. So on this one, and Suzanne, I know you support this. So what we're trying to do is, for example, on the right here, is show that Lightyear is more than Suzanne, right? We're trying to elevate the entire team here. So highlighting that, we have different levels of coaching. We have different team members. This is a vast organization and a vast network. And not just, I think Suzanne says, it's not the Suzanne Conrad, what is it? It's not the Suzanne Conrad method or something, I think you say in your
yeah, something like that. I mean, because people did suggest that I do that, sort of back to what you said, Nancy, about business consultants saying that. And really, we made the decision to brand it Lightyear so that it could be a community. So carry on. This is so fun, Dwayne. Great job.
We've also talked with Jen to see how we can support with Get There Now. And we've also reached out to just some key business partners, architects being an example here, with a letter similar to what I sent to each of you, just setting up time to talk to them about why they chose Lightyear, what results have they seen, and what would they say to someone who's considering choosing Lightyear as a business partner. So we've got some meetings already set up with some of these folks as well. Okay, so this is where we are now. So this is the big ask. This is why I'm here with you all tonight. So now what we want to do is enlist the troops, which is y'all. So here we are sharing the vision of what we want with the champions and coaches. And so what we're going to ask the champions to be doing, and this will be a partnership with Jen and Hunter when Champions resumes, is here we are meeting our by-win. We want to encourage the champions to create a LinkedIn page if they don't have one, with links to their personal site and their social if they want. We want to invite them to follow the Lightyear page. We want to request that they actually share the page out. And we actually want them to list their champion experience, invite them to list their champion experience in the volunteering experience section. And then we want to partner with maybe one or two champions that can actually in a mailing or a share out or just a note on lightyear.co actually just connect and let them know that we have a LinkedIn page so they can be in choice about connecting with it there. For my cohort, the LCT 2021 cohort, we want to encourage them also to create a page if they don't have one with links to their personal site and their social. We want to invite them to follow the Lightyear leadership page. We want to also request that they share it out as well. List their certification as an in progress under the licenses and certification pages. And when you do that, it'll actually pop up the Lightyear logo next to what your certification is as well. And then we also want to invite people to begin posting upcoming courses, including their practicums as happenings, as events, basically on LinkedIn. So I'll send a link to that. You can actually create LinkedIn events. You can actually create LinkedIn live events as well. And then finally, for y'all, I'm going to blow this one up a little bit because I want to make sure you see it super clear. So by the end of this month, what I'd love from each of you, if you're up for it, what I'd like to invite you to do is I'd love for you to create a LinkedIn page if you don't have one, and consider it. Considering the benefit that you could have by creating one for your coaching business with links to your sites and your social. Of course, we'd like you to follow and share the Lightyear page if you could. And by sharing that, it literally is clicking share and sharing. This is a page that you are a member of, and it's where you're certified. Include what Lightyear courses you are certified to teach in the role description. We want to, oh, sorry, I skipped one. I skipped one of the most important ones. We want to invite coaches to list themselves as a Lightyear employee. Now, this is a kind of a big one, and this is if you'd like to do it. You can actually list yourself as a coach, but you can actually list yourself as an employee. It would actually show up as a block. We want you to feel like you can. Suzanne has authorized this, and it would allow you to be part of a bigger network of coaches. And as the page becomes more and more followed, as Get There Now brings more traffic to that page, you can actually have a bit more visibility as a Lightyear coach. Equally, what I'd like to suggest is that in the business that I'm at over here in Europe, I work for a company called Zalando, which is Europe's largest fashion platform. And what our sales managers do, we're B2B sales managers in our team, is they actually list the territory where they are. And so what that helps people do is actually locate a sales manager in their area. So if, for example, Jenna, I believe you're still in San Diego, if people can actually see where you are, then they actually can look up a Lightyear coach in San Diego. You can also specify if you hold, virtual trainings, et cetera, et cetera. So you can actually use that strategically to kind of place yourself regionally within the Lightyear coach network as well. So you can kind of get a sense what we're trying to do is creating the page more as a hub, not just to support just Lightyear, but to actually support Lightyear coaches in the bigger picture here as well. Adding your Lightyear certification to the licenses and certification section, inviting yourselves to post your upcoming courses and happenings as events on LinkedIn, And then what we'd like to do is request volunteers to create or repurpose your original content, so you're not doing double work, and feature it on the Lightyear page if you'd be interested in doing that. And what this could look like is something every 1 or 2 months. We'd use the Lightyear brand guidelines, maybe put the logo on it as well, but it, post an article, an image, a light minute, whatever it could be. We've created a cadence that I can share in just a moment. And then finally, something that I'd like to contribute is I'd actually like to find 5 volunteers that I can actually create a short video similar to the video we created for the Welcome to Lightyear montage that's about a minute long, something that we could create that just shows you guys out there a day in the life crushing goals. And what that would look like is submitting some content of, like, say, life the past year. I would edit it up, create something that we could post, and we could include maybe like one of these metrics at the end. We can include the Lightyear logo at the top, but it's essentially people living their lives and living big and doing amazing things. So before I go on, let me just pause there. And for the folks on the call right now, what questions do you have about this portion right here, or anything that we've had so far? And I'll finish up the last little bit. Yeah, feeling clear?
Yeah, I don't have any questions, and I want to validate you, Dwayne, and say really good job. I'm always like, I don't know what LinkedIn's for. I don't know. And you said you wanted to enroll us, and I'm like, I'm enrolled in LinkedIn. So I want you to know that that is a success. So good job.
Boom. I told Amalia, I said, I want to make you fall in love with LinkedIn. She's like, oh, I know, it's just always been like this kind of thing. And I think we can make it something really amazing. And I think, yeah, I'm excited to see what we can do. Thank you. All right, the last couple of things really quickly, we want to tell the story. So what we do with your content, of course, is create that a content cadence to leverage it. We would request some contribution from Suzanne there as well, thinking something like an article per month, something short, so that it becomes a real mix, a real rich mix on that news feed and on the Lightyear LinkedIn page. And then we'd also include those that short series of those Lightyear coaches and their kind of iPhone video testimonial video montages. I'm going to have this sent out later. This is an idea for a content cadence. And then finally, we want to drop knowledge. Our BHAG for this project is to pitch to LinkedIn Learning that Suzanne maybe do personal legacy as a LinkedIn Learning course, which we think could be really powerful to have it on a cool platform. And it's something that Lightyear would still could generate revenue from as well. So it's pretty cool. Okay, last little step here. We want to put some timelines behind this. We love this animation. So here's my Gantt chart. It's a 6-month project. Here we are right now in August, the yellow, the community kickoff. We've already done these things here. We're here sharing this with you. We know that Get There Now is coming out in September. So we're trying to prep the coaches to have their content up and live by the end of August, so that it coincides with Get There Now, so that the traffic starts coming our way. We'll use September to tell stories, September and October. And we'll hopefully, we will pitch Suzanne by before November, and hopefully have an answer to see if we can get a personal legacy LinkedIn Learning course up on their platform as well. Again, think of what it could do for signups for Power My Future, Lightyear coaching opportunities, business inquiries, book sales, Lightyear's legacy. I think we've got some real power here. All right, y'all, that's what I have for you tonight. I'll finish just asking one more time, what questions do you have for me